What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to show you a couple of campgrounds we stayed at as we kind of made our way across North Florida and over to the East Coast before we started heading south back toward home to get some things taken care of down there. A couple of really nice campgrounds, but one of them was a little tricky, so stay tuned. So the first place that we want to show you guys is Rodman Campground. It's located just southwest of Palatka, Florida, which, to give you kind of a reference, is about 37 miles northeast of Silver Springs down near Ocala. And this campground is located on Rodman Reservoir.
So there are 68 sites there, and that's 38 electric and water sites and 26 tent sites. So they have a smaller section or a smaller loop that only has 1 through 13 RV sites, and we were in site 2 for our stay, and that's near the back of the park.
So sites 14 through 39 are going to be tent sites. They have a lot of tent sites. It's a really big tent loop, and really as far as tent loops go, it's one of the better tent camping loops that we've seen at a campground that we've been at. It's very secluded feeling back there. They have a lot of palmettos and a lot of trees, and do a really good job. If you enjoy tent camping or primitive camping, it would be a really nice place to stay, because it definitely, the sites have a lot of privacy to them, and definitely gives you that feeling of really being out in the woods for sure.
Yeah, not to mention lots of trees, so lots of shade, which is a necessity in Florida in the summertime if you're gonna brave tent camping.
That's the truth. So sites 40 through 68 are their other loop that has the RV sites with water and electric. And those sites are located closer to the front of the park. They're located on the Cross Florida Barge Canal, which connects Rodman Reservoir to the St. Johns River. Cell signal up there was a little bit better than what we had back in the loop down by the boat ramp. The cell signal at the loop we were in was very sketchy. So using our MIMO antenna plugged into our jetpack, we could get just enough signal that during the off-peak hours we were able to get online and do a little bit of work, but for the most part it was very in and out back there. We drove up to the front of the park to site where sites 40 through 68 are located, and the signal up there was very weak, but it seemed to be steady. We had like 1 bar of signal up there. So overall, the cell service is not the greatest out there, but you know, depending on what you need to do, there is enough to where you might be able to get by, but it's definitely not the best. Overall, we enjoyed the campground. If you have boat, kayak, something like that, then sites 1 through 13 down there would be very good, because they're extremely close, like we said, to the boat ramp. We did see quite a few alligators down there by the boat ramp when we were down that way. Tried to do a little bit of fishing down there, but I mean, every time your lure hit the water, the alligators were coming over to check it out. So didn't pursue that a whole lot, but it is a very peaceful campground. It's way off the main road, so you don't have any road noise or anything. Nice and dark at night, and just overall a really nice campground, and it served our purpose for just needing a place to stop for a few days very well. So the next campground that we went to is one that is very popular in Florida, and that was Tomoka State Park. It's located about 20 minutes north of Daytona Beach, so it's very close to Daytona, close to the beach, right there on the coast of Florida. So super popular campground.
Yeah, but the reason that we debated for a little bit about whether we wanted to go or not was because the max RV is 34 feet.
Yeah, they have 100 sites. So you know, you think of a campground with 100 sites as being big and spacious. This campground was different. It is not spacious. I mean,
yeah, and our RV is only 3310, so
yeah,
we were a little skeptical.
Yeah, technically we're just under that 34, but man, even though some of the sites are actually long enough to accommodate a RV longer than 34 feet, you would have a challenge navigating your rig through the tiny, skinny little campground roads, and then having to back it into a site. We were actually in an ADA site, so we were in site 74. 74 and 75 are ADA sites, and so they're concrete pads. They were a couple of the larger sites that they had there, and it was the only site they had available for the time we needed. So you can book an ADA site even if you don't, even if you don't have a handicap placard or a disabled placard for your vehicle. You can still book that site if there's nothing else available. You can actually book it even if there are other sites available, but they ask you to not book that unless you absolutely need it, or if it's the last site available. So it was the last site available, so we took it. And even that site was, it was tight to get backed in there. Plenty long. It was plenty long enough, but navigating around all the trees and everything, even getting through the campground was probably one of the tightest campgrounds we've ever been to. And our fifth wheel looked like a monster in there. It was by far, I think we saw one other fifth wheel in there, but on our loop anyway, we were a monster compared to everybody else that was camping there. So not only is it a length issue at Tomoka State Park, it's also a height issue when you're trying to navigate your way to this campground. So you have to come in if your rig's over 12 feet, which if you're in a fifth wheel, or a motorhome, chances are you're going to be over 12 feet tall. You're going to have to come in from the north. North Beach Street runs right up to Tomoka State Park. So if you're coming in from the south on that road, which is kind of where the signs direct you to go to get to Tomoka State Park, it's going to take you up North Beach Street where the maximum height is 12 feet because of a bunch of low-hanging trees. So a lot of low tree limbs. So we actually were coming in from the north anyway. If your GPS or your maps are trying to take you in from the south, you can just continue up US 1 to Pine Tree Boulevard. You can head east on Pine Tree Boulevard, and that will take you around and bring you in to the north side of Tomoka State Park. There are still some low trees even on that route, but they're avoidable as long as you're paying attention. There are some trees that kind of angle out over the road a little bit, but as long as you're paying attention, watch for oncoming traffic, you're able to kind of swing out. No issues coming in from the north. Our GPS was losing its mind when we were trying to go there. Red notifications and warnings popping up of low clearances that we were too high. Our RV is technically it's 12 feet 10 inches, so we have 13 feet put into our GPS as our height, so that it will typically alert us if it knows that there's a low clearance of under 13 feet. And it was trying to alert us, and obviously we had read some other reviews that talked about coming in from the north, so we knew that we'd be able to get in that way, even though the GPS was adamantly advising us to not go that route. So we did take a walk around and kind of make note of the sites that, if we were to come back, the sites that would be not only long enough to accommodate our fifth wheel, but that would be easy to back into, had plenty of room to get into the site. Again, like we said, a site being big enough and having enough room to actually get back into that site is two different things at Tomoka State Park. So we will leave those site numbers in the description of the video. That way, if you want to check it out, those are the ones that we noticed that we would be able to get into with our rig, and we're right at that 34-foot mark. I will say that probably the easiest site is site 91. It's a pull-through site. It's the only pull-through site that we saw there, but that one would be it's a really long site, no issues at all. You just swing right in. So a pull-through site at this place would be a huge benefit. So site 91 would be probably our first choice if we ever went back there.
So we visited a lot of Florida State parks, and these two Florida State parks allowed us to mark off another 2 counties on our Florida State map, which Dylan loves to do. Yeah, he's always excited when he gets to mark off new counties. We've been to a bunch of them, and we've stayed in a tremendous amount of Florida State parks. Some are a little better than others. Tomoka would not be bad if it were a little bigger for us. If you have a smaller travel trailer, or if you enjoy tent camping or something like that, then Tomoka's going to be great. There are some areas you can go fishing at Tomoka State Park. They have a boat ramp there. They have canoe, kayak rentals there on site.
So you know, a lot of activities to do at Tomoka State Park, and again, it's an extremely popular state park. It was really hard for us to even find a spot there, and then when we did, that site was the only one left for the days that we needed. So we have a couple of more stops we're going to make in Florida before we wrap up our time here. Look forward to bringing you guys those next few locations. One of them is a state park that we've actually been to, but we went to it. It's been about 3 years since we've been there, so looking forward to getting back there and checking it out again. And then we're going to have a couple of hopefully really awesome county parks to bring you guys. County parks can be an awesome find, especially nowadays with RVing and being so popular and being very, very hard to find sites. A lot of times people just hit those big popular spots, state parks, and things that are obvious, and county parks can be an awesome find. So look forward to bringing you guys those. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys down the road.